Hello and welcome to another scene for the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across the Dreaming crossover event. Today's scene takes place in Manhattan, an abandoned theater with a beautiful Art Deco facade, terracotta, painted, faded to mortal eyes, but to changeling eyes, still beautiful and vibrant. An echo of what once was and what may soon be. There, standing in front of the closed building, is a very large and a fairly lovely individual waiting for some people he's supposed to be keeping an appointment with. Standing off to the side, trying not to look conspicuous, are other sizable individuals, a rather hairy looking man and a very tall looking man, as far as mortal eyes can see. The lovely man with the long hair checks his watch and waits. This is where you guys intro your entrance.
Yeah, so
I chose to sleep in. Sorry.
Before they go in, I'm just gonna say that they've already arrived there, but they haven't gone in yet. Saoirse will look to Sam, and she'll say, "Do you want to be able to speak telepathically for this?"
He nods. It's like, he's got the kind of neutral but very serious look on his face when he nods.
Okay. She'll nod and spend a willpower for mind speak so that the two of them can communicate mentally back and forth. And
as you head towards the door, the two sizable looking men, one hairy, one just very, very tall, will meet you halfway at the locked doors and give a to see if you pay attention to them.
Yeah, Saoirse will look to them.
As we'll say it.
Are you here for the guided tour?
Yes, I believe so.
Then follow me, and he'll actually lead you to like the back fire escape exit. And slowly he'll lead you in. The theater it's a very it has like that old feeling of something classic and something grand, but ultimately forgotten. He leads you past the now emptied snack bar and old popcorn machines to one of the actual cinema areas, where the room is fairly dark, in that poorly lit way that theaters are before a movie. There's one individual sitting in a chair near the front.
Over the mind, Sam says, I'm really glad we were here for the tour. For a second, I was afraid we might be purchasing drugs.
Saoirse, she does not laugh out loud, but she does smile, and Sam will get the feeling of laughter back from her, like, that was funny. She'll just nod.
Are you guys going to approach the figure sitting?
Yes.
They're just standing there cracking jokes in the back.
No, Saoirse is going to approach him, and she will give a nod of respect, because she knows that he is a count in Changeling society.
And he stands up to receive your nod of respect, and he'll give one back. He looks to Sam expectantly.
Yeah, he'll flex his head to get to give a nod. Try and what he's doing is he's trying to best copy Saoirse when it comes to honorifics and etiquette. Specifically, they talked beforehand about how she knows a thing or two about a thing or two, and Sam's just like, "Oh, okay."
And he sizes up the both of you before speaking. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance. Name is Leon Taroni. Tarani. Sorry. Forgetting how to pronounce my own name. He extends a very large hand to shake.
So her hand is very small in comparison. She's tiny. Though she does have strength 3, so she's muscular, but she only stands about 5'3" in Hamid. So her hand is small, definitely in comparison to his. But she will extend her hand to shake it.
And he shakes her tiny hand, and he looks to Sam.
Sam will extend a hand to shake. Sam's hand is, I'm sure, still small by comparison, and certainly much more soft.
Neither of you guys are giving him your names.
No, she like. No, I was actually about to.
Okay, go ahead.
So just say, my name is Saoirse O'Brien.
Good Irish name.
Thank you.
Sam Kapoor.
Also a good Irish name, he says as he sits down. Just in that sort of cat-like lounge and puts an arm over the back of the theater seat. There is nowhere for you guys to sit in front of him. So
that's fine. She just kind of stands there, not awkwardly, but she just stands there.
So I understand we're supposed to be working negotiations between your people and my people.
We have we seem to have ourselves in a bit of a bind, I guess. And I know that it's been a long time, but in the past, the Fae and werewolves have worked together. And especially those of my type of people were called the Fiona.
Ah. Your people have a good name.
She smiles. We have, in our history, we sort of owe our existence to the Fae.
So, old alliances being called in.
She'll nod. Aye.
So what do you know about my people?
Well, I know that your society is structured in feudalism, which we have a similar hierarchy. I know that deals and bargains should never be made lightly. But we are definitely willing to uphold our end of whatever deal we happen to make.
And he He gives a nod. That's good to hear. Too many people these days think that a gentleman's bargain isn't a sufficient promise to be upheld.
I'm not so brash to think that I can just come in here and ask for something in return for nothing.
What is it exactly that you're asking for?
We have, to put it simply, we're being invaded. We need warriors. I know that warriors exist within your society, and anyone that would like to help with our situation, we would greatly accept. But especially those that are trained in fighting.
Warriors, I have. And he lets out like a whistle, one of those like almost ear-piercing sort of calls that I can't do, and you should be grateful for because it would be deafening.
Oh my God, right?
And as he does, the two men from outside enter the room, as well as about 6 others, making for a total of 8 individuals. They're of varying heights and builds. And at first glance, they don't appear to be anything other than average humans.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at these men, what do you think?
She kind of looks at them, looks at Sam too for his opinion.
He smiles some and just kind of shares over the pack link. What a wonderful collection of people.
Right? Yeah. She says back, indeed, right? Suppose that they don't really look like anything special.
Sam's smile fades a little bit.
Like, well, it's just like at first glance, they look like, she said they look like normal humans, so it's like, but she knows that there's something more to them. It's just he asked for her opinion.
And he gives an appreciative smile to the honest answer.
At least he appreciated her honesty. Thank God.
People can appreciate honesty even if they don't particularly practice it.
Right? Exactly.
He gives a toothy grin at that. And gentlemen, feel free to show your true faces. And they give a nod of respect to Leon. And you can see things begin to shift as each of them begins to spend glamour to invoke the weird.
Saoirse has seen something like this before. I don't think Sam has. So
what you're seeing appear before you, some of these men grow from, tall for human size, 6'7", that kind of stuff, to towering blue individuals with horns and bulging muscles and slate blue skin as they stand like Nordic monsters of old. Others Their skin turns leathery and gray. Their nose shrinks back to a skull-like visage as teeth, rows and rows of teeth filed to sharp points, curl up in a menacing grin. Amongst these are some less terrifying looking individuals as well, with more ferocious animal manes starting to sort of appear on their visage with, antlers, horns, um, a couple that even look fairly canine as they all sort of pose at the ready there. And while they were all wearing street clothes before, now they all wear bright red armor with a silver lion uh, emblazoned on the front. Now, what do you think of them?
Saoirse is looking way up at the troll with big eyes, like, wow.
Speaking of big eyes, yeah, Sam's kind of like almost beaming at this point. Like, Sam, if you hadn't gotten the point before, now is probably when it's the most abundantly clear that Sam loves seeing new things, unless they're about to kill him.
That's yet to be determined, but I'm kidding.
Right.
They don't seem hostile towards you at the moment, though.
So she looks to them, and she looks to the troll and she says, "I have seen one like this before. Most impressive."
Where have you seen one like this before?
So about a year ago, I want to say, there was a concert in a park, and it had to do with a corrupted company that was producing beer, and I was there with...
Oh, that was on a beach.
Oh, it was on a beach. Okay, yeah. Never mind. Scratch that. On a beach. So, concert on a beach, and there happened to be a couple of your kind there, and when when shit hit the fan, they did what you just did. Made themselves visible.
Usually, I prefer things kept to a more subtle approach. That was before my time. When people show their true phases out in the open, I am usually not a big supporter. This is a private meeting, and we need to make sure that we know what we're dealing with. Correct?
Of course. And I definitely appreciate it.
If it's of any comfort, we believe similarly, the way you do about discretion.
She nods. We actually, before during that fight, we were able to evacuate most of the concert before we did anything. So it was handled relatively discreetly. But there was still some aftermath cleanup we had to deal with, as happens sometimes. This particular instance that we're dealing with, though, I don't think that it will be very public. At least I'm hoping not. She looks to Sam.
He nods, but there will be quite a bit of cleanup.
Aye, there will be.
Ah, so are you asking for janitorial services instead of warriors?
No, we can usually handle the cleanup. It's fine. Just saying that there is a risk, but we will make sure that none of our people or your people are compromised in helping us.
Sam actually looks over at Saoirse kind of seriously, and over the pack link he says, "We can't make that promise."
Yeah, she nods. Wait, let me rephrase that, because that's not actually something that I can promise. We can try our best.
These gentlemen are sworn to me. Keeping them safe is no small concern of mine.
Of course.
Asking them to step forward, to assist outside of our own kind, I suppose, that's no small favor. What do you have to offer as repayment?
Over the pack link, Sam kind of says, "Have you thought of anything we should pay them with?"
She'll say back in the pack link, I was thinking that offering future favor they need of us, then we have to help.
Any future favor. I think.
Oh, that was through the pack link.
Yep, she didn't say that out loud.
Okay,
That was
okay,
through the
sorry.
pack link. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
And Sam just kind of asks openly, "May I?"
Of course.
Or rather, through the pack link. Fuck, yeah.
Yeah, she'll
openly.
say that. Of course, you're here too, and I've done a lot of talking, so go ahead.
Yeah, and he looks over to Leon and says, in our line of duty, we are fighting a war. One that, if the out of character, what is the fucking word I'm looking for? If these if these negotiations continue, you'll get a glimpse at precisely what it is we do.
So you're offering a glimpse as repayment?
No. My apologies, I'm not finished. I mean to say that certainly there's some manner of war that perhaps you fight as well. The offer stands that if you provide warriors to help us with this particular issue, so there come a time when a great battle occurs among your people that requires our assistance. If you call the banners will come.
Saoirse smiles and nods in agreement.
Every Fey soul is a unique light that once snuffed out never burns as brightly again. What you're asking for has the potential to snuff out quite a few of these lights. What you would owe is not just to me or my county, but a penance to the dreaming as well.
Must forgive my ignorance. There's a great deal I do not know.
He gives like a head tilt, expecting you to continue.
This, you speak of this dreaming. May I speak with, one of their representatives?
You're speaking to one now. Each of us represents some aspect. Everyone. From the humans that bear every dream to the prodigals that branched off from the original intentions of the Tuatha themselves.
Tuatha is definitely a name that she recognizes. There is an old oath, I think is the correct term, between my people and yours. That is similar to what we're asking and you're asking in return. That if either side needs help, then we are to aid them. And keep in mind where you're from. The dreaming you speak of, I think to put it plainly in terms that we might understand, is basically like the dream realm, yes?
I suppose that could be a simplification of what is something great, vast, and life-giving.
I'll nod. What kind of penance would we owe?
For every life lost, I want a promise in return from one of yours.
What sort of promise would that be?
A favor owed. And it will be no small thing.
She looks to Sam.
Sam looks to her.
What? And she'll pack Link. What do you think?
Sounds only fair that those not fighting in our war are asking them to pledge their lives, and should they lose them, I suppose favored owed is...
I agree. Sounds fair to me, because we are asking them to put their lives on the line when they don't have to. And we should owe them a favor in return for the lives that they do lose.
The only question is, we should be the ones to select who owes the favor, don't you think?
She'll nod.
Otherwise, for all we know, they could call in some of our highest ranks and send them into death. Could you imagine if, after this, we'd lost only one life and they called in the favor on our warder? Or our alpha?
That's very true. I mean, I'm willing to shoulder.
I am too. And I'll give you that for free. Like, you sense the reluctance in his voice.
Mm-hmm. She sends him a bit of comfort, like, be okay.
And Sam takes a deep breath and looks back at Leon and says, "These favors owed. When you call upon them as part of this arrangement, we ask that when you call in a favor owed, we select whom among our ranks we can send."
I think that's negotiable. Of course, whoever you send must understand that they will be held by oath to the Fae.
Of course.
Of course.
And are you willing to bind yourself to this promise today?
I am.
And perhaps more.
More.
Another day.
We may be the ones that come to call when the favors are owed.
Sam nods. Very sternly, very, very dutifully.
Resolved, like, yes.
So, yeah.
He nods. So, an oath for fairy life snuffed out in this endeavor. And he nods as though he finds this acceptable. And he yells out, "Barry!" And a much smaller individual kind of shuffles in. Is a sort of a nebbishy looking individual, kind of wringing his hands a little bit as he sort of works his way to the front. And he gives a very deep bow to Leon. Leon speaks. "Barry, please draw up a contract for these individuals, I believe one each, to hold them to their promise here today, that they, as representatives of the Garu, are shouldering the burden of one oath owed to us for every Fae life lost in this war." And Barry nods. And he scurries out of the room, and a moment later returns with 2 pieces of parchment outlining the stipulations for this contract, that you, as representatives of the Garu, promise an oath to the Fae for every fairy life lost in this battle. One second. I am getting a frantic set of messages from your ST. I'm going to go ahead and let him come in real quick.
Okay.
Tell him I said he can suck my dick for money.
Oh. Amazon, I'm sending you a link. Hop in.
Suck his dick for money.
So anything you want to tell them, Werewolf ST?
Guys,
can you roll me perception, intelligence alertness, please, to remember?
Do I get any modified difficulty for eidetic memory?
Yeah, that's exactly what you're rolling at the moment. Idiotic memory.
Oh, okay. Intelligence alertness.
Would a lightning calculator come into play?
Yes, it would.
Okay. Is that a -1 or a -2 diff?
Let's go with -2.
Okay. I won't. Yeah, I'll hold you to this if it does change.
Depending on the difficulty, it's either 2 or 5 successes.
But difficulty is 6.
Oh, okay. So I don't get a the eidetic memory doesn't help.
No, it's difficulty 6 to remember. It says when player doesn't remember, you make them do a roll.
2 successes.
Also, we're in dice roller 1.
Okay.
Oh, whoops. Sorry. I rolled it in 2.
We could still see the roll, so you...
So, you guys, I'm gonna scale one by one. First go with Sam. Sam, there was one thing that he was saying that made you caught this, and then you're like, wait a second.
It's about to say, I think I might know what it is.
Every Garu life, apart every Fey life, and there were rumors they are already helping and sending an infantry force, and these guys that they're sending are plus. This is they were told they're already helping, but we may need more help. Convincing them more help, and you were counting there's 6 guys here. We were fighting with Banes, and your lighting calculator is well, that may be too much. And then you remember the warder said, don't give him any free checks for the future. He says under no circumstances, we as SEP do not need to owe favors that we don't know what the ends mean. So if we're going to owe this count, make sure that we know, and I underline, we know what we're getting into. Don't give him free checks. And you realize you don't know what the oath means. He's keeps saying, the Count Leonis keep underlining this oath. Oh, he's saying oath, oath, oath. And you're like, there's something weird about this guy saying oath. Saoirse.
Yep.
The warder, you remember the warder saying he kept I underlined this, don't give him free checks and stuff like that, and don't come to meetings that you we don't know what end off. So the word, because you're a Fianna, the word oath is giving you this very weird vibe that you're getting kind of itchy before you right before you make this contract with him. Mm-hmm. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Sam,
is it fair and square, guys? I'm asking both of you.
I'm good with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
Sam will physically reach over. Where are Saoirse's hands right now?
At her side.
Sam will kind of discreetly, as best he can. Let me know if I need to roll something, but he'll kind of reach over to kind of grab her wrist, or kind of do a gesture of whoa, hang on.
Yeah. She kind of she has a thought at almost the same time, so she doesn't reach to sign the contract yet. And she'll link to Sam. I think that we need more specifics.
Still on the pack link. I agree. As written, this accounts for support they've already given us.
So let's say the lives of his men that are lost.
I think even more appropriate would be in the battle we're anticipating. A very specific battle.
I'll nod. Send back affirmation. She'll look to Leone.
Hmm.
We would like to make this a little bit more specific.
And he gives kind of a smirk. Oh?
Aye.
Ah, you guys, your SD's like, yes.
We want the oath to say that we would owe for the lives of your men that are lost, if any, in this battle. And we are asking for very specific help. So instead of any favor in the future, it would need to be for something equally as big as this.
In addition to that, when we use the word battle, we're referring to one very specific confrontation. This battle is going to culminate, and at its culmination, where your men should arrive with our numbers, in that fight, the one that this oath, this contract is pledged towards, in that fight, we will repay loss of life.
Very well. For any of the Fae that fall directly under my territory, that serve and die beneath your banner during this culminative battle, I require a favor owed to us of equal magnitude of what they offered the dreaming.
To be carried out by a Garu of our selection.
Of course.
Joshua nods and looks to Sam. She likes those terms much better.
Sam nods very, very gently, very subtly.
Okay. She definitely looks like she feels better about those terms, and I accept those terms.
Very well. Barry, please go drop the new contracts. And Barry nods and scurries off and
Sam will,
like dejectedly like crumpling up the parchment as he goes.
Sam will just say, "Thank you very much, Barry."
Thank you very much.
Moments later, Barry will return with new contracts, and and it states that in exchange for lending aid, any lives from that are lost to the of the Fae that are lost that belong to the county of New Hope, which is his territory, the entire county.
Mm-hmm.
Any Fae lost this battle, any loss will be repaid with an oath to the Fae from a Garu of your choosing that is an equal magnitude of what what the lost individual offered to the dreaming.
Sam kind of taps this one section.
Mm-hmm.
Says, "Will be repaid with an oath of equal magnitude." What exactly does this entail? Be repaid with an oath of equal magnitude. I was under the impression that the oath is being made now between us for services to be repaid.
And he looks at you and he goes, 1, 2. And he looks behind him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe I have a knight who is currently recruiting even more to assist you. Should all of these souls be lost, I don't think the two of you would be up to the task of repaying for all of those lives lost.
Well, that is correct. We may
Have to outsource?
Beyond herself and myself, yes, to other members of our organization.
So which means at that time, whoever we select to repay it would then need to oath themselves.
Indeed. This is no small favor you ask, and so it is not a small favor that we ask in return.
Sam looks at Saoirse and says, some small regard. This is a blank check.
Not as big of a blank check as we were offered before. It is much more specific. This is a negotiation. We have to compromise.
He nods.
We'll make sure that whoever we send later on volunteers and knows exactly what they're getting into.
Sam nods a little more resolute at that part.
We're not just going to send anybody blind. We'll make sure that whoever is the one that does it knows what they're doing and does it willingly. Is that fair? That's what we'll go back and tell the warder.
I believe so.
Okay. She'll nod and then she'll look. Leon, these terms are acceptable and we accept them.
Good. Then I believe we should sign. Leon pulls a small knife. It's a small silver blade. They aren't vulnerable to it. Like you.
But at least in Hamid, we're not as vulnerable to it, so that's good.
And he gives a cut to the palm of his hand and puts it to the parchment. And when he removes it, instead of a handprint, it's a lion's print.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he does this to both contracts and then offers you both the silver blade.
Pack links to Sam. We got cut ourselves with silver. At least we're in Hamid. We can heal it in Hamid.
Sam nods. Just kind of his temples bulging a little bit as he clenches his teeth and unclenches them behind his lips.
You're just kind of doing the same thing, like, God, it's silver. Fuck. But at least in our breed forms we can heal it. So it's she'll take the knife. She'll go first. Cut the palm of her hand and clench her teeth and kind of hiss through them as it burns her skin. She'll offer the knife to Sam. Lets the blood run over her hand, and then she'll handprint both contracts.
Sam will accept the silver knife and plunge it into the face of Leon. No.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
Jesus Christ. All right, Scar.
No, and Sam.
Everything's wrong.
Lion King reference and King. No,
Yeah.
Sam takes a deep breath as he hesitates, and then closes his eyes as he makes the cut and furrows his brows. His face twists into a snarl as the silver cuts his skin and burns. As the blood comes out, he'll
How do I do this fucking thing? Whatever. Difficulty 4, 7d10. Let's go. Go ahead. Go. Sorry.
he'll wipe the blade off on his jeans before offering it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good idea not giving your blood to the Fae.
Yeah.
Right? Is that so since it's a knife, that's gonna be lethal damage, right?
Okay, which
Point
one
of
of you
lethal.
wants to take the first contract? Let's see, the first one was Saoirse, right? Your contract binds you for 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. Sam, 1, 2, 3 successes.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
I had 5 successes. With my wits salad, I am exempt. No.
No.
With salad. Saoirse does not soak the damage from the silver, so that's gonna stay there for like an hour until she can heal it.
Very,
How much damage were you soaking?
Probably 1 lethal.
Yeah.
Because you can, in your brief form, you can soak silver normally.
Normally, you can't soak silver, but if it's lethal, you can soak it.
Oh,
Yeah,
can we soak
in your-
lethal in breed form?
No, you can't.
Okay, so then
right,
forget
you
about
can't.
normal.
So never mind. Yeah, so we'll have to heal it
Just
normally.
One lethal.
Yep. Okay, never mind.
Barry will offer you both some gauze and bandages so you don't bleed all over the place.
Yeah, Saoirse will take it.
Fuck that shit, I'm a man, I'll bleed where I want to. No, he accepts. And, yeah.
And as the contract magic takes place, it both parchments split into copies of themselves. And Leon keeps one for himself and hands each of you your respective contracts with him.
Oh, thank you. I was actually going to ask for a copy. This is so convenient, thank you.
Yes. Saoirse will put her copy in her magpie swag.
Sam in his mundane fucking messenger bag.
And Leon nods to both of you. Now, is there anything else that you need to negotiate?
I don't believe so. Unless you want to just, drink. She looks at her hand. I could use a drink right now.
So kind of you to offer to buy me and my men drinks. And he stands up.
Shrugs. Yeah, she'll buy them drinks. She don't give a fuck.
And he gives a good-hearted chuckle. Second round will be on me.
She'll nod. I agree to that.
Sam nods and smiles and gives Saoirse a pat on the back and goes, "Ow."
As he stands up, he gives a nod to his men who basically turn off the weird.
Yeah, right?
Don't want to cause a scene. And they will lead the way out of the theater, locking it behind them.
We're trapped.
No, behind you guys.
You done yet? Sorry, that's being a shit.
All right, I think that's a good place to end the scene. So thank you players for playing. Thank you watchers for watching. Thank you other ST for saving their asses because I would have nailed them to the wall. And we'll see you next time.